Welcome to the ASUG News Studio. My name is Tom Whalegum. We are broadcasting live from ASUG Annual Conference in Sapphire Now 2015. Well, I'm delighted to have a couple gentlemen in the studio here to talk about some very cool things about transformation, having to do with SAP, and all the cool things their companies are doing in a great partnership announcing. So, to my right is Dr. Steele Arbini, President of SNP's North American Operations. Welcome.
Hi Tom, how you doing? Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in. You guys have been busy, and glad that you could make some time to come over.
Great, always a pleasure.
And Paul Bowie, you are HP's Worldwide Offering Manager for SAP Modernization. Did I get that right?
Yes, absolutely.
All
That's
right.
what I am.
Welcome in. So,
Thank you.
Steele, I want to start with you. SNP calls itself the transformation company. What does that actually mean in practice for customers?
Sure, look, transformation is a part of life now more than ever in the modern enterprise. And we see it all around us as a result of mergers, acquisitions, divestitures, dilutions, and also internal reasons, perhaps a corporate reorganization or a simplification of the landscape, or just a cleanup of the mess that's occurred naturally over the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. All those are calls for transformation, and that is what we specialize in.
Where are you guys located? Are you obviously probably a big global company? Where are you guys all around?
Well, not as big as Paul's company, but
not many are.
But we have offices in the U.S. in Jersey City, New Jersey, and several offices throughout Europe. Our headquarters is in Heidelberg, Germany.
Okay. So you guys got some exciting news here this week. Can you give us a little bit of an insight on what you guys are announcing?
Sure. We have a lot of positive announcements, both together and separately. For example, HP and SNP are taking their long-standing partnership to the next level and announcing more automated, pre-packaged solutions for simplifying customers' SAP landscape, and with targeted packages to migrate them to the newly announced HP Cloud.
Yeah. So as part of that relationship with SAP, and with all the change that's going on, we're sitting here surrounded by SAP, around SAP HANA, around S4. So all of these journeys that companies are now going through mergers, acquisitions, divestments, and so on, and the change that is causing. We've announced yesterday in a press release with SAP that we'll be working together to help SAP to migrate some of those customers into the cloud quicker. And part of how we do that journey and roadmap that we have to create, is where SNP and HP will work together.
And that's a great way to, so much of those keynotes where you're on a journey, here's the roadmap. It seems like, I talk to a lot of ASUG members, CIOs, they're looking for this help right now.
Oh, sure. It's not just about saving money we're talking about here. Right. This is a tremendous regulatory and compliance risk. Legal, we're talking about saving people from going to jail. We jokingly say, SNP, we keep you out of jail. Because when you have such a disconnected landscape with so many components, you cannot get the visibility and transparency into the operation that you need. You cannot answer those regulatory questions that you need, and that's tremendous risk.
Yeah. And Tom, just to put a layer on top of that, when a company announces that it's going to merge or divest or separate, it usually announces it to the market via their CEO, and there's usually a date that goes with it. So you imagine the criticality of missing that date, the company's value, its reputation and so on. So these things can't be treated lightly. They are high risk by nature, because there's lots of people, business, process, separation, merger going on. So how we can work together in accelerating that, de-risking it, and also making sure those dates are assured for those CEOs is where we work together.
And that's very, very critical. So let's talk about the system scan. I know that's a big new offering. Can you give us a little sneak peek of what that is?
Sure. Our system scan is a free service that we offer that performs over 300,000 business and technical checks in your SAP landscape, more than any other scanning tool out there. And this is a key way to, number one, identify show-stopping risks early, and learn things about the project that you never knew, that typically may take months of analysis. We're able to accomplish that in a free scan. We were doing a project for an energy company one time, and they were very adamant of what they wanted done. They knew they wanted to move part of this organization into a new system. Fine. Please run the scan. They run the scan, and we tell them, guess what? that organization that you thought was here is really not. It's somewhere else, and what you want to do, you can't do now. And these are people that use that system every day, and they're still not aware of it at that level. Automated scanning, our automated system scan, can uncover those risks early, help you plan and scope a project definitively, and answer all those unknown questions right away.
That's huge. Anything you wanted to add to that, Paul?
I mean, the whole area is actually tremendously complex in doing that initial scanning, but it is the first step that you have to take, understanding what the complexities are. If you jump into these situations with both feet without understanding where you're going to, then it's only going to end one way. So the more planning, the more understanding, the more sort of seeing where you're heading to, and where the rockiness in the voyage is going to be, which is what the scan is there for. Will give you the de-risk and the certainty of where you're going to as well.
That's a great point. And I would add too, I mean, as companies are starting that journey to S4HANA, right? I mean, this seems like it's going to be even more critical. That if you don't have this, and you're going to start moving all that, porting all the data, or starting to think about new systems, if you don't have it right at the outset, it's going to be a problem. So is that, you guys see opportunity there as well?
We try to start every project with the scan, just as a matter of process.
Sure.
And in addition to that, there's many other analysis tools that HP and SNP as a team bring to the table. For example, you're contemplating an S4HANA migration. There are going to be changes to your business processes. Now, how do we identify those, what the differences are, where the gaps are, where they overlay and where they don't? Again, automated scanning tools that we have can uncover that, present it to you graphically, and allow you to understand that impact way before you even moved one bit of data onto S4HANA, right, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the strength of doing it this way from the scan is that, yes, the scan is looking at it from an application, a business process level, but actually, that's not how a company's enterprise application model exists. It exists from the business process. What are you going to be doing in a business process, all the way down to what's the underlying infrastructure, architecture, boxes, where does it sit, right? So the strength of HP and SNP is to be able to bring that whole end-to-end story with the scan, with the tools that we also have around business process maps and so on, say, okay, that part of your application is going to change. What's the trickle down all the way to your application infrastructure, architecture as well? Because one change always, as we know, causes change downstream as well. Yep.
That's the problem.
That's the strength.
Well, that's great, and I also say, as the scan can open up companies' eyes to things where they have vulnerabilities and risks. We'd also like to point out that SNP, every time people open up their door at their hotel this week, please notice the SNP card and think about SNP and this great news that you guys are coming in, and congratulations on the partnership.
Thank you so much, Tom.
And enjoy the rest of your week here.
Thank you, you too.
You too.
For more customer stories and great interviews with great ASUG partners like SNP and HP, please go to asugnews.com.